How often have you found yourself constantly checking your phone, hoping for a message from someone special, only to realize they never seem to think about you the same way? It can be a frustrating experience, but there are a few psychological tricks that can make them truly miss you and think about you when you're not around. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Let's see that by using these techniques, how you can create a situation where they are desperate to see you again. Are you ready? Let's get started. There's a principle that stands as a foundation for both personal fulfillment and healthy connections: the importance of revealing your entire self. This isn't about showcasing a perfect image or hiding your flaws. It's about embracing and displaying every facet of who you are: your dreams, your quirks, your strengths, and even your uncertainties. By doing so, you communicate a powerful message. You are complete, independent, and flourishing, with or without someone else's presence in your life. This approach not only enriches your relationships, but also deepens your sense of self-worth. Living as your whole self means engaging in a life that is rich with purpose and satisfaction, independent of anyone else. You're not waiting for someone to come along and make your life meaningful. Instead, you're actively pursuing a life filled with your own passions, hobbies, and goals. This approach isn't just about becoming more attractive to others. It's about fostering a deep sense of contentment within yourself. When you live a life that excites you, that energy naturally draws people towards you, making them curious about the world you've built for yourself. Being a complete individual in a relationship is about finding the balance between sharing your life with someone and maintaining your own identity. It's about cherishing your alone time, investing in your interests, and nurturing your personal growth, all while being open to love and connection. People are instinctively attracted to those who radiate contentment and confidence, who seem to be thriving in their own space. When they see that your happiness doesn't depend on their presence, they'll start to appreciate and even yearn to be part of the fulfilling life you've created. In relationships, presenting your full self cultivates a dynamic of mutual respect and genuine connection. By continuing to grow and pursue your own happiness, you set a standard not just for yourself, but for how you expect others to treat you. This approach is incredibly magnetic. It invites others to be part of your journey, not out of obligation, but because they are inspired by the life you lead. They'll want to join you, not to complete you, but to share in the adventure that is your life. Part of showing your complete self involves allowing vulnerability. This means being open about who you are, what you desire, and what excites you. It's about not hiding the parts of you that may seem imperfect or unconventional. When you are authentic and transparent, you invite others to do the same. This kind of authenticity leads to deeper, more meaningful connections because it's based on truth and genuine acceptance, rather than on trying to live up to someone else's ideals. Another crucial element of living as your complete self is preserving your independence. It's easy to lose yourself in a relationship, to start depending on the other person for your sense of identity and happiness. But when you continue to pursue your own ambitions, nurture your friendships, and engage in your hobbies, you remind yourself and them that you are a whole person, first and foremost. This independence doesn't diminish the relationship. It strengthens it by ensuring that it's built on choice and mutual respect, rather than need or dependence. Confidence is naturally attractive, and when you live as your full self, you exude a confidence that comes from being comfortable in your own skin. This self-assurance is compelling. It draws people in because they sense that you are someone who knows who they are and is unapologetically themselves. This doesn't mean you won't have moments of doubt or insecurity, but it does mean that you are committed to being true to yourself, no matter what. Continuing to focus on your personal development and happiness means that you are always evolving. You are not waiting for someone to come along and change your life. You are actively shaping your own path. This constant growth keeps your life vibrant and dynamic, ensuring that you are always bringing something new and valuable into your relationships. This not only enriches your life, but also keeps your relationships fresh and engaging. Living as your full self also involves setting clear boundaries. This is about understanding your worth and not settling for anything less than you deserve. When you have a strong sense of self, you are less likely to compromise on your values or accept treatment that doesn't honor who you are. This kind of self-respect naturally commands respect from others, as they see that you won't tolerate being undervalued or disrespected. As you continue to invest in your passions and interests, your life will become more satisfying and complete. You will experience a sense of purpose that isn't tied to anyone else's approval or presence. This fulfillment makes you less likely to cling to relationships that don't serve you because you understand that your happiness isn't dependent on them. Instead, you can approach relationships from a place of abundance, knowing that you bring something unique and valuable to the table. You'll find that your relationships become deeper and more fulfilling. You'll attract people who genuinely appreciate you for the unique individual you are, rather than for the role you play in their lives. These relationships will be based on mutual respect, admiration, and genuine connection, rather than on superficial needs or expectations. When you live this way, you not only enhance your own life, but also inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of authenticity, confidence, and self-assurance, and that is something truly worth cherishing. Not just for the sake of others, but for your own personal growth, happiness, and fulfillment. This journey is one of self-discovery and empowerment, leading to richer, more meaningful connections and a life that truly reflects who you are. Rule number 2, spark the flames of jealousy. Jealousy, a word that often carries a heavy weight, is more than just a fleeting emotion. It's a complex psychological response that, when understood and approached with care, can become a tool for rekindling connections and deepening bonds. Now, before you raise an eyebrow, let's get one thing straight. I'm not talking about playing games or manipulating emotions. What I'm getting at is the idea of using jealousy in a way that sparks desire, curiosity, and a renewed interest in you. Imagine you're holding a match. You're not here to start a wildfire, but to ignite a spark that makes someone realize what they're missing. We've all been there, right? That moment when we see someone we care about laughing, enjoying life, and perhaps sharing a moment with someone else. It stirs something within us, a pang that says, wait a minute, I want to be part of that. This is where jealousy comes into play, not as a weapon, but as a mirror reflecting what could be lost. When someone sees you living your life fully, laughing, engaging, being present, it can create a sense of longing in them. They start to remember why they were drawn to you in the first place, what made you special, and suddenly, the distance between you seems a bit too far. But here's the key. This has to be authentic. People can sense when something's off, when you're trying too hard, or when your actions are driven by an ulterior motive. The goal isn't to parade your life around like a trophy, but to genuinely immerse yourself in moments of joy and connection. When you're truly enjoying yourself, it shows, and that's what creates the spark. The idea is to live your life in a way that naturally draws others in, making them want to be part of your world again. Think about it as planting seeds of curiosity. When someone sees you thriving, they start to wonder, what's different? What's making you glow in this new light? And it's not about proving a point or showing off. It's about letting them see the vibrant, dynamic person you are, a person who's worth missing. By sharing glimpses of your life, whether through stories, photos, or simple mentions of your day, you create a narrative that invites them to reconsider their absence. It's like leaving a trail of breadcrumbs, not leading them directly to you, but giving them a path to follow if they choose to. You're not pushing. You're not demanding their attention. You're simply living in a way that makes them want to lean in closer to see what they've been overlooking. Jealousy, when sparked in this way, can lead to a realization, a moment of clarity where they think, I want to be part of that again. However, it's crucial to balance this with empathy and respect. We're dealing with emotions, and emotions are delicate. The last thing you want is to hurt someone or push them away further. It's about creating a space where they feel drawn back to you, not because they're afraid of losing you, but because they genuinely miss what you bring to their life. This is where emotional intelligence comes into play, understanding when to step back, when to share, and when to simply be. Living vibrantly isn't just about socializing or being seen with others. It's about being fully present in your own life. It's about embracing your passions, nurturing your friendships, and finding joy in the small moments. When you do this, it naturally radiates outward, making others take notice, and yes, perhaps even feel a twinge of jealousy. But this jealousy isn't about insecurity. It's about them recognizing your value and the richness you bring into the world. In this process, remember to stay grounded. The goal is to uplift, not to create unnecessary tension or drama. Jealousy, in this sense, is not about creating division, but rather a gentle reminder of what could be rekindled. It's a way to reignite interest and affection, to bring someone back into your orbit in a manner that feels organic and true. Ultimately, it's about being your best self, not for the sake of someone else, but for you. When you're thriving, when you're genuinely happy, it's contagious. People want to be around that energy. They start to see what they've been missing and realize that maybe, just maybe, they want to be part of that again. So, spark the flames, but do so with care. Let the glow of your life be the beacon that draws them back, not because you've orchestrated it, but because they've recognized what's truly worth cherishing. Let's continue with the rule number 3. Don't always be on their line. Human brains are wired to crave what isn't readily available, and we always desire things of high value. By not being constantly available, you spark their curiosity and make them wonder about you. Overdoing it with texts and calls shows desperation, which isn't appealing. We will tell you a story right now, then you can understand this. As the evening sky turned from a soft amber to a deep twilight, Emily found herself sitting alone on her favorite armchair, her phone resting heavily in her hand. She had been staring at the screen, contemplating sending John another message. It had been days since they last spoke, and though she wanted to reach out, something held her back. There was a growing unease inside her, a nagging feeling that perhaps she was trying too hard, giving too much of herself without allowing space for him to come to her. Emily sighed, remembering a piece of advice she had once heard from a friend who had navigated relationships with wisdom and grace. You can't always be the one reaching out, her friend had said. If you're constantly on their line, always the first to text or call, you risk appearing as if you have nothing else going on in your life. It's like serving the same dish over and over. No matter how much someone likes it, they'll eventually get tired of it. At the time, Emily had shrugged it off, thinking it sounded too much like playing games. But now, those words echoed in her mind with a new clarity. Taking a deep breath, Emily set her phone aside and decided to shift her focus inward. She recognized that her desire to always be in contact with John stemmed not from love, but from a deeper, unspoken fear of losing him. It was as if she believed that by constantly reaching out, she could keep the connection alive, prevent the distance from growing. But in truth, what she was doing was smothering the very thing she cherished, not giving it the room it needed to breathe and flourish. Over the next few days, Emily made a conscious effort to invest in herself. She poured her energy into her work, rekindled friendships that had been sidelined, and rediscovered hobbies that had once brought her joy. Each time she felt the urge to reach for her phone, she reminded herself of the importance of balance, of allowing space for John to miss her, to wonder about her, to appreciate the moments they did share. Meanwhile, John began to notice the shift. He realized that the steady stream of messages from Emily had slowed, that she wasn't as readily available as she had been. At first, it unsettled him. He had grown used to her being there, always just a text away, always ready to respond. But now, with her absence, he found himself thinking about her more, wondering what she was doing, why she wasn't reaching out as much. And in that wondering, he began to feel a sense of longing he hadn't experienced before. This change didn't just affect John, it profoundly impacted Emily as well. As she embraced her own life, filling her days with activities and pursuits that brought her fulfillment, she began to feel a newfound sense of confidence. She no longer felt the need to seek validation through John's attention. Instead, she realized that her worth wasn't tied to how often she heard from him, but in how she viewed herself. She was a woman of value, with or without his constant presence. John, on the other hand, found himself missing the little things, the spontaneous texts, the late-night conversations, the warmth and laughter that Emily brought into his life. He hadn't realized how much he relied on those moments until they were no longer as frequent. And as the days passed, that absence grew, filling the space with a quiet yearning that made him appreciate Emily even more. Emily's decision to step back and allow room for John to miss her wasn't about manipulation or playing hard to get. It was about understanding a fundamental truth of human nature. People are drawn to what isn't always easily accessible. When something is always available, it's easy to take it for granted. But when it's not, when there's a bit of mystery, a hint of distance, it sparks curiosity and desire. It's like the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. As the weeks went on, Emily noticed that John's approach towards her began to change. He started reaching out more, initiating conversations, and asking to spend time together. When they did meet, he was more present, more attentive, and genuinely interested in her life, in what she had been up to. Emily could sense that the dynamic between them had shifted. There was a new balance, one that felt healthier, more mutual. Through this experience, Emily learned an invaluable lesson about herself and relationships. She realized that her happiness couldn't be dependent on someone else's attention or validation. By taking a step back, by not always being the one to reach out, she gave herself the opportunity to grow, to reconnect with her own passions and strengths. And in doing so, she not only reignited John's interest, but also rediscovered her own sense of self-worth. John's renewed interest wasn't just a result of missing Emily's presence. It was a recognition of her value. He saw that she had a life outside of their relationship, that she wasn't waiting around for his every message, and that made her even more attractive to him. She became someone who was not only desirable, but also admirable, someone worth the effort and the wait. This transformation in their relationship highlighted the importance of balance. It wasn't about Emily playing hard to get. It was about her living her life fully, with John being a part of it, not the entirety of it. She wasn't ignoring him or pulling away out of spite. She was simply making space for herself, and in doing so, she made space for him to come towards her. In the end, both Emily and John grew from the experience. John learned to appreciate Emily's independence and strength, while Emily learned that her worth didn't depend on someone else's attention, but on how she viewed herself. Their relationship became stronger because it was built on mutual respect, understanding, and a shared recognition of each other's value. So, if you ever find yourself always on someone's line, constantly reaching out and waiting for their response, remember Emily's story. Take a step back, focus on your own life, and give them the space to miss you. It's not about playing games or being hard to get. It's about recognizing your own worth, living your life with purpose, and allowing the other person to see you for the incredible person you are. Because sometimes, it's not about how often you're there. It's about being worth the wait. Let us share with you something that can subtly yet powerfully influence the way others perceive and connect with you. It's a psychological principle that many overlook, yet it holds the key to deepening relationships, creating intrigue, and leaving a lasting impression on those around you. Imagine yourself in a conversation. You're sharing your thoughts, experiences, and emotions openly, laying everything bare on the table. While this transparency is honest, it also leaves nothing for the imagination. The mystery is lost, and with it, the spark of curiosity that keeps people engaged. So, let me take you on a journey into the psychology of mystery, why it works, and how you can harness its power. People are naturally drawn to the unknown. It's part of our human condition to seek understanding, to solve puzzles, and to make sense of what we don't fully grasp. When you become an open book, you close the door to this fundamental curiosity. But when you hold back, even just a little, you become an enigma. You stir that innate desire to explore, to question, and to discover. This isn't about being deceptive or secretive. It's about pacing the revelation of who you are, allowing others the pleasure of peeling back the layers over time. When someone can't immediately categorize you, they are drawn to you, wanting to know more, compelled to engage deeper. Think about the people in your life who have captivated your attention the most. Chances are, they didn't reveal everything about themselves all at once. Instead, they shared bits and pieces, just enough to make you wonder what else lies beneath the surface. This creates a dynamic interaction, where each encounter feels like a new chapter in a book, an opportunity to learn more, to discover new facets of their personality, and to be surprised by what you find. The mystery is what keeps you turning the pages, metaphorically speaking, eager for the next interaction. Now consider how you present yourself to the world. If you're someone who tends to share everything up front, I invite you to experiment with a different approach. The next time you find yourself in a conversation, whether it's with a new acquaintance or a longtime friend, try holding back just a little. If you had an interesting day, don't feel compelled to narrate every detail. Instead, offer a hint, something intriguing that invites questions. For instance, you might say, "I had the most unexpected adventure today," and then pause. Watch how this simple act shifts the dynamic of the conversation. Notice how it piques the other person's interest, making them lean in, wanting to know more. This approach doesn't just make you more interesting, it also empowers you. By controlling the flow of information, you steer the direction of the conversation. You're not just passively sharing, you're actively engaging, creating a dialogue that's more interactive, more engaging. It's a subtle shift, but one that can transform how others perceive you and how they connect with you. The mystery you cultivate becomes a magnet, drawing people in, making them want to invest more time and energy into understanding who you are. It's important to recognize that cultivating an air of mystery isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about respecting the natural pace at which relationships and connections develop. When you reveal everything too quickly, you risk overwhelming others or diminishing their interest. But when you allow them to discover you gradually, You're honoring the process of getting to know someone. You're giving them the gift of curiosity, the thrill of the chase, and the joy of discovery. These are powerful emotions that deepen bonds and create lasting impressions. You might wonder, isn't it better to be fully open and transparent? Transparency is valuable, but so is pacing. It's not about withholding truth. It's about sharing it in a way that is thoughtful and intentional. When you practice this, you'll find that people not only listen to you more attentively, but also remember you more vividly. You'll stand out in their minds as someone who is not easily forgotten, someone who leaves a lasting impression. That's the power of mystery, creating a presence that lingers in the thoughts of others long after the conversation has ended. This principle applies not just in social settings, but in professional ones as well. In the workplace, being a bit mysterious can set you apart from your colleagues. When you don't reveal all your strategies, ideas, or plans up front, you maintain a competitive edge. Your colleagues and superiors may find themselves more intrigued by your work, more eager to see what you'll come up with next. It's a way of keeping the anticipation alive, making your contributions more valued and your presence more impactful. Think of it like this. If life is a story, you are the author of your own narrative. Every interaction, every conversation is a new chapter. If you reveal the entire plot in the first few pages, there's no reason for anyone to keep reading. But if you introduce suspense, if you weave in unexpected twists and turns, you create a narrative that others want to follow. They become invested in your story, eager to see how it unfolds. And as the author, you have the power to craft a story that is not only compelling but also memorable. In relationships, this air of mystery can be incredibly alluring. It keeps the connection fresh and exciting, even after years of knowing someone. When you hold back just a little, when you keep a part of yourself reserved, it adds depth to the relationship. It creates a space where both partners continue to explore and discover new things about each other. This ongoing sense of discovery keeps the relationship vibrant and alive, preventing it from becoming stagnant or predictable. So, how do you cultivate this air of mystery without coming across as aloof or distant? The key is balance. Share enough to connect, but not so much that there's nothing left to explore. Be open, but leave room for curiosity. Engage, but don't overexpose. This balance allows you to maintain the intrigue without losing the warmth and connection that make relationships meaningful. It's a delicate dance, but one that, when mastered, can profoundly enhance the quality of your interactions. Finally, remember that mystery is not just about what you say, but also about how you say it. Your tone, your body language, your expressions. All of these contribute to the aura you project. When you speak with a hint of mystery, when your words suggest there's more beneath the surface, you draw people in. They become more attentive, more engaged, and more invested in what you have to share. This is the essence of captivating an audience, whether it's one person or a room full of people. By embracing the power of mystery, you're not just changing the way others see you. You're also changing the way you see yourself. You become more mindful of the impact you have on others, more aware of the energy you bring into each interaction. This self-awareness is empowering. It allows you to navigate social dynamics with greater confidence and finesse, making you not just interesting, but unforgettable. Rule number 5, don't give in to attention bait. When someone sends you a casual emoji or a simple hello, if you always respond immediately, it gives the impression that you're just sitting around waiting for their message. It can make you seem less valuable in their eyes. The human mind doesn't place much worth on what's easily accessible. If you're always available, they might start to take your attention for granted. But if you don't always drop everything to reply, they'll have to put in more effort to keep your interest. Eventually, they'll realize they can't hold your attention with minimal effort. So, when that next casual message comes in, resist the urge to respond right away. Take your time. This isn't about playing games. It's about showing that your life is full, that you have your own dreams and ambitions, and you're not just waiting around for someone else's attention. By not jumping at every message, you're subtly telling them that your attention is something of value. It's about encouraging them to work a little harder to earn your interest, which in turn makes them value it more. Now let's dive a little deeper into why this matters, not just in relationships, but in the way you live your life. The way you handle your attention reflects how much you value yourself. If you're constantly available at the drop of a hat, it sends a message, both to others and to yourself, that your time and energy aren't worth much. And that can start to wear away at your self-esteem, your confidence, and even your sense of identity. You might begin to associate your worth with how quickly or how often others reach out to you. And that's a dangerous place to be. But when you start to cherish your own time and attention, you begin to foster a healthier relationship with yourself. You start to understand that your time is precious, something to be guarded and respected. This shift in mindset can fundamentally change the way you interact with others and how you see yourself in the world. Imagine the freedom that comes with not feeling obligated to respond immediately. It's not about being elusive or creating unnecessary distance. It's about reclaiming your personal space and time. When you don't rush to reply, you give yourself a moment to breathe, to consider, and to decide if this interaction is something that truly deserves your attention. This pause is incredibly powerful. It's a moment where you take back control, where you decide how you want to engage with the world, rather than letting the world dictate your actions. And in that brief pause, you might find a sense of peace and clarity that's often missing in our fast-paced, always connected lives. This approach also subtly shifts the way others perceive you. People are naturally drawn to things that aren't easily obtained. When you make your attention something that isn't given away freely, it becomes more desirable. It's similar to the laws of supply and demand. The less accessible you are, the more people seek you out. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing hard to get or manipulating others. It's about creating a dynamic in which your relationships are more balanced and respectful. When others see that you value yourself, they're more likely to respect your boundaries, to appreciate the time you give them, and to put in the effort to earn your attention. Consider how this principle can be applied beyond romantic relationships. Whether it's in friendships, professional interactions, or even within your family, the way you manage your attention has a profound impact. If you're always the one who's available, who's constantly giving and giving, it can lead to feelings of exhaustion, burnout, and even resentment. But when you start to be more intentional about where you place your attention, when you start to set clear boundaries, you create a much healthier dynamic. You carve out space for yourself to recharge, to focus on your own aspirations, and to engage with others in a way that feels more balanced and rewarding. Let's explore the psychological impact of not giving in to attention bait. When you resist the urge to respond immediately, you're training your brain to be okay with waiting, to be comfortable with not being constantly stimulated by external interactions. This can help reduce anxiety, especially in a world where we're inundated with notifications and messages at all hours of the day. It's a practice that can build patience and resilience, teaching you to be more at ease with delayed gratification. Over time, this can lead to a deeper sense of inner calm and stability, as you become less dependent on external validation and more secure in your own sense of self-worth. But it's crucial to understand that this isn't about being distant or uncaring. It's about being deliberate. It's about making a conscious choice in how and when you engage with others, rather than allowing others to dictate your availability. It's about recognizing that your attention is a valuable resource, one that shouldn't be handed out freely. When you start to approach your interactions with this mindset, you'll notice that your relationships become richer, more meaningful, and more respectful. You'll begin to attract people who honor your boundaries, who value your time, and who appreciate you for who you are, not just for how quickly you can respond to their messages. As you start to practice this, you may observe a shift in how others react to you. Some might become more eager to connect, putting in more effort to engage with you. Others might pull back, perhaps because they're not used to the new dynamic. And that's perfectly okay. Not everyone will be comfortable with the changes, especially if they've grown accustomed to having easy access to your attention. But remember, this isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about creating relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and understanding. It's about surrounding yourself with people who see your worth and who are willing to invest in a meaningful connection with you. One of the most powerful aspects of this approach is the message it sends to you. By not giving in to attention bait, you're telling yourself that your time is valuable, that your life is full of meaning, and that you don't need to be constantly validated by others. This can be incredibly liberating. It's a way of reclaiming your own story, of taking control over how you spend your time and who you spend it with. And when you feel this sense of empowerment, it starts to influence every area of your life. You become more confident, more assured in your choices, and more at peace with who you are. So, the next time you receive a casual message or a quick hello, take a moment to pause. Consider how you want to respond, if at all. Reflect on the message you're sending, not just to the other person, but to yourself. Are you giving away your attention too easily? Are you letting others control your availability? Or are you valuing your time, your energy, and your sense of self-worth? By making this small but significant shift, you can begin to transform not just your relationships, but your entire approach to life. You'll start to notice that when you respect and value yourself, others will follow suit. And that's when real, meaningful connections are formed. This is more than just about managing your attention. It's about managing your life. It's about recognizing that you hold the power to choose how you spend your time, who you share it with, and what you focus on. It's about realizing that your attention is one of the most precious resources you have, and it's worth protecting. When you start to see it this way, everything begins to change. You become more selective, more deliberate, and more in control of your interactions. And that's when you start building a life that truly reflects your values, your goals, and your most deeply held beliefs. Remember, you are the designer of your own life. The way you handle your attention is one of the most crucial tools you have in shaping that life. So don't give it away easily. Be deliberate, be thoughtful, and most importantly, be true to yourself. When you approach life this way, you'll find that the world responds in kind, offering you relationships, opportunities, and experiences that are in alignment with who you truly are. And that, my friend, is the foundation of a life worth living. As you continue to navigate your relationships and the way you manage your attention, keep in mind that this isn't a one-time change. It's a lifelong practice. It's about consistently valuing yourself and your time, about making choices that reflect your worth. There will be moments when it's tempting to revert to old habits, to respond quickly out of a desire to be liked or needed. But remember the bigger picture. Every time you choose to value your attention, you're reinforcing a healthier, more empowered version of yourself. You're building a life that honors who you are at your core. In the end, this approach isn't just about gaining respect from others. It's about cultivating self-respect. It's about understanding that your attention is a gift, one that should be given with intention and care. And when you start to live this way, you'll find that your relationships become more fulfilling, your interactions more genuine, and your life more aligned with your true self. This is the power of valuing your own attention. It transforms not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. And that in itself is a remarkable achievement. Rule number 6, embrace charisma and cultivate confidence. These qualities serve as an invisible force that naturally draws people toward you, making your presence both magnetic and memorable. Being charismatic doesn't require dominating a room or commanding attention through sheer volume. Rather, it's about the subtleties of how you connect with others. By being comfortable in your own skin and expressing yourself with genuine authenticity. When you're confident, you naturally create an environment that makes others feel at ease, enhancing the quality of your interactions and making your absence keenly felt. Charisma, at its core, is about how you make others feel when they're around you. It's not about being the loudest voice or the most assertive personality. It's about showing others that they matter. This could be as simple as actively listening, maintaining sincere eye contact, or responding with genuine empathy. These actions create a sense of trust and appreciation, making people feel valued and understood. When you embody charisma, you cultivate a space where others feel comfortable and appreciated, which in turn makes them crave your presence and leaves them wanting more after you've gone. Confidence, on the other hand, stems from a deep-seated belief in your own worth. It's not about arrogance or seeking validation from others, but about having a quiet assurance in your abilities and your place in the world. True confidence isn't the absence of insecurity or doubt. It's the ability to navigate these feelings without letting them dictate your actions or interactions. Confidence shines through in your body language, how you stand, how you move, and how you engage with the world. It's reflected in your willingness to step outside your comfort zone and face challenges head-on. When charisma and confidence come together, they create a compelling presence that naturally attracts attention. You don't have to demand the spotlight. Your authentic self naturally commands it. Your interactions become more meaningful as you balance the art of listening with the ability to speak your mind in a way that invites dialogue rather than stifling it. This approach draws people to you, making them eager to engage, connect, and learn from your experiences. One of the most impactful aspects of charisma is the way it leaves others feeling uplifted. When people walk away from a conversation with you, they should feel better about themselves, not just because of what you've said, but because of how you've made them feel. This is the true essence of charisma. It's not about inflating your own ego, but about elevating others. By consistently fostering positive interactions, you create lasting impressions that make people look forward to the next opportunity to be in your presence. Confidence also plays a crucial role in how others perceive you. It's about remaining steady and unshaken by external opinions or challenges, providing a sense of reliability that others can depend on. This unwavering self-assurance makes you a stabilizing force in any relationship, deepening trust and reinforcing connections. People are drawn to those who are confident yet approachable, as this combination fosters both admiration and comfort. As you embody charisma and confidence, you'll find that opportunities naturally come your way. People will seek your company, your counsel, and your collaboration because your energy is infectious and your presence is impactful. Even when you're not physically present, your influence will linger, leaving a lasting impression on those you've interacted with. It's important to remember that confidence isn't about masking your flaws or pretending to be something you're not. True confidence comes from embracing your imperfections and feeling secure in who you are, despite them. This authenticity is what makes your confidence believable and your charisma relatable. People are drawn to realness, and when you present yourself as genuinely as possible, it resonates deeply with those around you. By practicing these qualities, you'll notice a shift in how people respond to you. Conversations will become more engaging, relationships will deepen, and you'll find that others are increasingly drawn to your company. They'll miss your presence when you're not around and eagerly anticipate the next time they can engage with you. This is the transformative power of charisma and confidence. Let us share with you the last story that will illustrate the incredible impact of knowing when to leave people wanting more. This is a principle that can transform not only how others see you, but how they value your presence in their lives. It's a lesson we can all learn from a young woman named Jessica, who had a remarkable way of making her interactions unforgettable. Jessica was someone who naturally drew people in. Her charm wasn't just in what she said, but in how she said it. Every conversation with her felt like a breath of fresh air, refreshing, uplifting, and full of life. What made Jessica truly special, though, was her instinctive ability to know when to leave people wanting more. She had mastered the art of ending interactions at just the right moment, leaving others with a sense of anticipation and excitement for the next time they would see her. Jessica's close friend, Alex, valued their friendship deeply. They had shared countless moments, from lighthearted banter to deep discussions about their hopes and dreams. One evening, they were chatting about a recent adventure they'd both been on, reliving the thrill of their experiences. The conversation was lively, full of laughter and shared memories. Just as the discussion reached a high point, Jessica, with a twinkle in her eye, said, "I have to hear more of your thoughts on this, but let's continue tomorrow. I think there's so much more we can explore." Alex, taken aback for a moment, agreed. As they said their goodbyes, he found himself thinking about the conversation they would pick up the next day, eager to continue. The next day, Alex couldn't shake the anticipation that had built up overnight. He found himself reflecting on their conversation, wondering what else Jessica had to share. When they finally met again, he was more engaged than ever, excited not just to talk about their shared experience, but to be in Jessica's company. Jessica had created a sense of longing and curiosity, making their interactions feel more meaningful and leaving a lasting impression on Alex. As their friendship deepened, Jessica became even more adept at this approach. Whether they were grabbing coffee or sharing thoughts on life's challenges, she always knew when to end the conversation, ensuring it never grew dull or overstayed its welcome. She left Alex with something to look forward to every time, a promise of more to come. This made their time together feel special, something to be cherished. Alex soon realized how much Jessica's approach was changing the way he viewed his own interactions. He noticed that when he left conversations on a high note, just as Jessica did, people seemed more eager to see him again. His friendships grew stronger, and even his professional relationships benefited from this subtle yet powerful shift. Jessica had shown him the importance of quality over quantity, of leaving something unsaid so that there was always a reason to return. Jessica's ability to leave people wanting more was not about playing hard to get or distancing herself from others. It was about understanding the power of timing and the value of anticipation. She knew that by ending conversations at their peak, she could make every interaction memorable. It wasn't about cutting things short. It was about making sure that each moment was full of life, and then leaving with the promise of more to come. In all her relationships, Jessica became someone others couldn't wait to see again. People found her presence to be a gift, something that brought warmth and energy into their lives. Her knack for leaving them wanting more meant that every time they were together, it felt like a treat. Jessica didn't just fill time with idle chatter. She created connections that left others feeling uplifted and eager for the next time they could be with her. Alex often thought about how much he had learned from Jessica, not just from their conversations, but from the way she lived her life. Her approach taught him that by mastering the art of leaving people wanting more, he could create more meaningful and lasting relationships. It wasn't about always being available. It was about knowing when to step back, ensuring that each interaction left a positive, lasting impact. Jessica's story is a powerful reminder for all of us. Whether in our friendships, romantic relationships, or even professional interactions, there's immense value in knowing when to end things on a high note. By doing so, we ensure that our presence is always appreciated, never taken for granted. We create a sense of anticipation that keeps our connections vibrant and our relationships strong. So, if there's one thing we can take away from Jessica's story, it's this: don't be afraid to leave something unsaid, to end a conversation when it's still full of energy and excitement. By focusing on making every moment count, and by leaving others with a sense of anticipation, you'll create relationships that are not only meaningful, but also enduring. Your presence will be something people treasure, and they'll eagerly await the next time they get to spend time with you. Jessica's approach shows us that life isn't just about the quantity of time we spend with others, but the quality of those moments. By leaving them wanting more, you make each interaction a moment to remember, a cherished memory that keeps them coming back for more. It's a simple, yet powerful way to enrich your relationships and make your presence something others truly value.